How can someone earning $80,000 a year be struggling to live? This is fucked.
Made, and we are literally the brokest we've ever been. Brokest we've ever been.
But I'm making the most money I ever had my entire life. My husband and I, between the two of us, gross, make like over $80,000 a year. And if you told me a few years ago that $80,000 a year was not going to be enough for a family of four.
I make more than what I made back in 2015. But I am still literally living paycheck to paycheck.
I have to work 60 hours a week and make $80,000 a year to make ends meet. That's insane. I can't even begin to wrap my head around it.
Financially, I don't understand anymore. I don't understand how I make $34 an hour and I can't function.
If $80,000 a year isn't enough to live, what chance does anyone else have?
What does the American government think is going to happen if rent prices continue to increase and our salaries are not increasing with it? Genuinely, what do they think is going to happen?
Well, here's what will happen. More and more people will fall into homelessness.
The homeless have no right to turn every park and sidewalk into a place for them to squat. We're moving the encampments away. There are many places that they can go, and we're going to help them as much as you can help.
Homeless individuals will be given the option to leave their encampment, to be taken to a homeless shelter, and if they refuse, they will be susceptible to fines or to jail time. Fines or to jail time. Fines or to jail time.
I have a question. Where do you guys live and what is your rent? Because my rent just went up again and I don't understand how. I live in Dayton, Ohio, and my rent is almost $2,000.
Not New York, not LA, Dayton, Ohio. $2,000 for rent? Think about that.
And who in the hell are affording to move into these ridiculously high, overpriced, expensive apartments? The national average salary is like $55,000, something like that. I'm not the best at math, but 56,000 divided by 12 is like $4.6 thousand a month. That's like 75% of your check gone if you're paying $3,000 a month for an apartment. Not to mention you got food, you got electricity bill, got car payment, car insurance, gas. You like to go shopping, get new clothes. God forbid you need a haircut every 2 weeks or you got to get your hair done. And God forbid you have fucking kids' mouths to feed. That's even double. The average income earner cannot afford these overpriced ass apartments. So who the fuck are they building these apartment complexes for?
Well, it's basic math. The numbers don't work. These apartments are not for working people.
Any adult that gets up and goes to work every week and works 40 to 50 hours per week should be able to at least afford basic necessities. But it's not that way. Minimum wage has not gone up at all. In North Carolina, South Carolina, and other states as well. Minimum wage is still $7.25. Now, I know most people are not paying that, but why is minimum wage still $7.25?
Minimum wage frozen for decades, while rent doubles, triples, or quadruples. It's crazy.
And we're at $81,000 for the median household income today. But this next column is what concerns me. Back in the 70s, the median household income to the rent was only 16% of the income. In the 80s, it was 14%, the 90s, 17%, then 20%, then 25%. Now we're at 30%. This is why people are feeling the pressure, because there are 100 million people right now that cannot buy a home.
16 to 30% of income just to keep a roof overhead. Meanwhile, in the UK, they're tying rent to income, something America won't even consider.
Sir Keir Starmer confirms that from September 1st, 2025, rent in the UK will be calculated in a new way, directly linked to a tenant's salary. Under this change, landlords will be required to set rent based on income, with the amount limited to around 30% of monthly earnings. For people on lower wages, the rent will be capped lower, while in high-demand areas, those earning more may be asked to pay slightly higher within set limits.
Maybe the answer isn't shame. Maybe it's family and community helping each other survive.
Making your kids pay rent while they living with you is weird.
If you don't let your kids pay anything, they gonna be sit back.
it is wild to have your kids pay rent, and Black people seem to be the only people having this conversation. I'm not sure why, because we're not exclusive in this experience. Listen, multi-generational households, communal living is all very common across all cultures across the world. And so when we hear Black people say, your kids, as soon as they turn 18 or as soon as they come back from college, move back in with you, got to start paying rent, that to me just like, it's a lack of care in the community, you feel me? Because like, yeah, I understand that parents cannot expect to pay the entire financial burden of the household throughout their entire child's life if they're not capable of doing so, and they might require assistance. But as soon as your kids turn 18, or as soon as they move back in after they just graduated college or came from whatever situation they're coming from, expecting them to pay rent, like, don't have a useless, don't do nothing, don't take care of nothing child in the house, I guess. But they're like, paying full rent is crazy. Like,
hi, we'd like to see this apartment for rent. No pets. Okay, we don't have any. Renter pays all utilities. Okay, that's fine. You need a 3-to-1 income to rent ratio. Great, we do. You need a credit score of at least 670 to even be considered. Great, that means we qualify because both of our credit scores are above 670. You need to fill out an application first, and then we can go ahead and decide. Okay, here's the application. Sorry, we've already rented out this property as of 2 days ago. Wonderful. How thoughtful of you to let me know after the fact.
Well, funny but not funny. This is a real experience millions are facing trying to find housing. The truth is, what we just saw is not random. It's a pattern. Across America, the cost of rent has exploded while wages remain stuck in the past. Families making $80,000 a year, what used to mean security, are now living paycheck to paycheck. People are working 50, 60 hours a week and still can't afford a roof over their head. And when people ask the obvious question, what happens when rent outpaces salaries? The government looks the other way. Instead of tackling affordability, we see policies that criminalize homelessness, turning poverty into a crime instead of fixing the root problem. And this isn't just a big city issue, it's happening everywhere. From Dayton, Ohio to North Carolina to California, renters are paying half, sometimes 3/4 of their income just to stay housed. That's why people feel hopeless. That's why millions will never own a home. Other countries are experimenting with solutions, tying income to rent, capping it at 30%. Now here, instead, we are told we must just work harder, budget better, or cram into overcrowded apartments. But the budgeting doesn't solve the math, and telling people to suffer in silence isn't leadership. The American dream was built on the idea that hard work equals stability. But what we're seeing now is that hard work no longer guarantees shelter. Until wages rise, until policies prioritize housing as a human need instead of an investment scheme, this crisis will only get worse. So yes, people are furious, and they should be, because the rental market isn't just squeezing families, it's breaking them. So what do you think, guys? Is there any way to solve this housing crisis? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe.